Alrighty then. So this Chit Chat and Charcha is not a video. Instead, it is a podcast, which occurred due to some technical difficulties, such as the fact that my quote-unquote guest slash friend and I live on separate continents, and therefore could communicate only through a Skype call, which has been recorded and which is what you will soon hear. Right, my friend Mitran Kwatra, who I affectionately like to call Mitran Plato Kwatra, is someone that I've known since the first grade. He is my treasure trove of answers for all things philosophical and otherwise. Right, okay, that was my intro. You can go on and listen, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, I just figured out how to access my messages with you from video chat because it's been many months, probably.
Okay, wait,
years,
even I
that
had
you
to figure
spent.
that out. Oh, there we go. Got it. Okay, that was just one
Nice.
button.
What's the latest movie that you saw that you enjoyed?
Oh, shite. Hold on. I watch a lot of movies. Wait a second.
Hmm.
What did I watch last? What did I watch? Oh, this is gonna be sad, huh?
Sure. Hit me.
I watched Hum Tum again. Have you
Okay.
watched Hum Tum? 2004 blockbuster with like Rani and Saif.
Okay. And tell me more.
And
I've never
and
heard of this movie
if you watch
because it's a
it,
Hindi movie.
yeah,
Huh.
watch it because it's made like what in the 2000s, right? 2004,
Right, yeah,
was that right?
2004.
Yeah, okay, 2004, but it's
Huh.
oddly gender positive, very like
Okay.
a lot of equality, quite appreciated. I mean, there's always underlying like whatever
Yeah,
pasted
because it's
sexism, but that's
2004 and in
still,
India.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's beyond your expectations from a movie that was made in 2004.
Huh.
And yeah, I kind of loved it. What's the last movie
On a
you
plane
watched?
from Delhi to New York, he meets Rani Mukherjee on a stopover in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So because it's liberal and progressive, it obviously has to involve some international destination.
Yeah, always. Everything happens
Yeah.
abroad only in this movie. And all the narrow-minded stuff happens in India. I'm not joking.
This dude's name Karan.
Watch it. Yeah.
And like Karan. He has a girlfriend also, but he's still okay, cool.
Yeah. Karan, and her name, of course, is Riya.
Oh, and she's marrying Abhishek Bachchan.
Yeah.
Spoilers, but
Yeah.
because I've so I don't know if you guessed, but I have no real intention of watching this movie. I'm reading the Wikipedia page.
What's the last movie you watched that you actually enjoyed?
Oh God. So I was watching a movie called Her, which is one of my
I know
favorite
her.
movies.
Yeah.
And have you heard of it?
Mm-hmm. I know her. Yeah,
Yeah.
first her.
So have you watched it?
A bit of it, yeah. Bits and pieces
Okay.
of her.
So I have a friend and another friend of mine who really liked it. And we had a third friend who we wanted to show it to, and we watched about half of it, and then he decided that he didn't like it, so we stopped. But which is fine by me. But like, I guess that's the last movie that I watched, and I really enjoy watching that movie every time.
Did you watch The
I
Darkest
watch it.
Hour?
Yes, I actually really didn't like that movie
Why? I want to know why.
because I felt like there were no events. Nothing happened except for the very beginning and the very end. Nothing actually happened in the movie. It's just
Yeah.
Gary Oldman talking to people and pissing them off. At the movie, he's elected to prime minister, and in the end, he saves the army. But between that, there's no events that happen.
Yeah, I see your point. But I still feel like because it's completely a biased opinion. I can tell you it's coming from a very
Sure.
personal space. But
Oh
like,
yeah, that I
it's-
mean that's reasonable.
yeah, I mean it's British, okay.
Yeah. It's Winston Churchill, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Churchill. So it's like it's as British can get, and
Right.
I love like anything to do with the World War. That sounds terrible because violence, but no,
No, that's fine. It's
yeah,
very interesting.
I love anything to do with the World War, and so it was very interesting. I went with Rahil Rao, which is great company to have during a movie because both of us know when to speak to each other, and then we know when to not.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
perfect. And yeah, I enjoyed it, except okay, unpopular opinion, but
Okay.
like I loved Gary Oldman as Churchill, but I
Sure.
couldn't understand what he said most
Really?
of the time
That's interesting.
and like I mean, come on, we're on Dolby speakers. I mean, come on. Like I need to understand what you're saying. For the first time I needed subtitles for an English movie.
Why do you think that was? Would you do you think it was just
I
his enunciation
Yeah, just
wasn't
the
really good?
enunciation. Just he spoke with
That's
his
interesting.
mouth almost shut. So like
Oh, actually, I
yeah.
do remember that with the
Yeah, yeah,
cigar
yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Which is why it was a little difficult, but I do agree with your observation. Yes,
Mm.
absolutely
But and
agree
I
with
also
it.
feel, I mean, so he won the Academy Award. Yeah, he won the Academy
Yeah, yeah,
Award for
yeah,
that
yeah,
performance.
yeah, yeah.
I kind of feel that it's, I mean, the way he played it, I think it's kind of it was kind of an easy role. Like he basically had to play a sarcastic old man
See, that's how
who
you look
appears to
at
be
it.
in, yeah.
But then that's what like okay, if we boil down everyone's like personality to something like that, it'll that's what we'll get. But like you
That's
need
true.
when it's a almost a biopic, you need to
Oh yeah.
like more thought goes into it than
That is
sarcastic old
true.
man with a lot of makeup. Yes, got it.
That's a good
That's
point.
Churchill. So like you and I will not know how Churchill like walked in, talked in, everything
Right.
because he's
That's
not part
100%
of
true.
our recollection. But yeah, I guess those who watched it and who gave him the Academy Award may have given it to him with
Because
some.
he did a good job. Yeah, that
Yeah,
seems
maybe.
reasonable. What space is there now to simply discuss? I think there's a lot of space. I try and have casual conversations with every one of my friends that I interact with all the time,
Yeah, but
and I get a lot out of that. I think.
casual conversation itself.
Huh.
Don't you like going
I mean,
deep? That sounds weird,
yeah.
but
I think it usually. Oh yeah, that is what I mean too. But usually that happens if both participants are like committed enough and they're interested enough in coding the conversation, then I think as soon as you start being honest, then you hit some deep topics. Usually, that's what I've found.
Because I think I'm terrible at small talk, and as a result of which I ask the deep questions. Like, do
Hmm.
you really think you're gonna continue doing filmmaking all the time? And they're like, what? What? I'm like, yeah. Hasn't that been on your mind other than like what you ate for lunch? I can't do that.
Yeah, I used to be really bad at small talk, and then I realized that I'm actually really interested in learning like small things about people. Like
Like,
I'm interested in asking them random questions. Like I'm interested in learning about their life. I'm interested in learning about what they're studying, what they want to do,
but
what they
then,
did today.
but then, is it small talk?
Yeah, I think that isn't that what small talk is?
I thought small talk is just like to buy time, like
So is small talk necessarily pointless? Do you think?
that's my. I feel so. I don't know.
What is small talk? So, according to Google, small talk is polite conversation about unimportant or uncontroversial matters. So,
Ah,
I guess small talk is necessarily like BS.
yeah, and it's
Uh,
just there to buy time.
but like, so I guess small talk and casual conversations are not all the same thing. But casual conversation is definitely something that I like invest in a lot.
But what do you brand as casual conversations?
I think it's pretty easy. I mean, so I think it's pretty easy to understand what casual conversation is without fitting a text like a dictionary definition on it. But
Fair.
but I would say it's I don't know. Maybe it's conversation that only happens because both participants are interested in having the conversation. So I feel like there are three levels of engagement with art.
Okay.
There's appreciation, there's imitation, and there's creation.
Would you say appreciation, imitation, and creation? Do you think all three always like follow each other? Like once you start appreciating, do you start imitating, and then do you start creating?
Not necessarily, because so take music for example. A lot of people listen to a lot of music, and I
Yeah.
think they're really like engaged with the artistic side of music.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't ever play an instrument or create music. Well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
imitate or create music. So I think that so people can just engage by appreciating
Yeah.
art, but
Isn't
I
that
think there are higher
engagement
levels.
itself?
Say again, did you say imitation?
No, no. Appreciation itself is engagement, is what you're
Yeah,
saying,
that's what I'm
right?
saying. Yes.
My dad keeps telling me that no idea
Hmm.
is ever original. Like
Sure.
whether you're aware of it or not, you have pulled from influences like throughout. And my understanding of this entire thing is that like the influences and the inspiration that you do take from,
Huh.
you combine it in an original way.
Yeah, absolutely. I
But
agree.
the basis of it is not your own or anyone's own because every idea has been done and done till like the cows go home.
Hmm. So, do you think art is collecting things that we see and experience and putting it together in a unique way?
I feel like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because
So what I'm trying, yeah, go ahead.
no, it's like like people keep saying you need to develop a palate for this, you need to develop a palate for that. Like
Right.
food or shit, we're going into it, but food or film or
Oh,
books
don't
or
say it.
anything, right? You need to develop a palate for it.
Right,
And
that's true.
and which basically means that you're like sucking ideas out of things.
Yeah, that's a very good way of phrasing exactly what you wanted to say.
Like, and
Like sucking it.
yeah,
Yes.
literally. Shut up. Shut up.
What?
Uh,
I'm just.
that's no. Um, yeah. Now I lost my train of thought. Thanks.
So sucking inspiration out of. No, that's not at all
No,
what
no,
you're
no.
saying.
Sucking ideas out of pieces of
That's
work.
it.
Yeah, to use in your
Hmm.
own creations, whatever they are.
Yeah. So I'm thinking if so this this idea that we're building of how art is created is that there are elements.
Yeah.
There are two parts. There are the elements and then there's putting it together.
Yeah.
And the elements are always external and putting it together is always internal or always mostly dependent on this person.
That's interesting to look at. Yeah, I guess so.
But I definitely feel, or I at least want to believe that there are some elements which you can come up with entirely on your own, but you can't create a whole art piece out of that. But I definitely want to believe that some of the elements can come from purely within the creator.
Like what?
Like if so, when someone introduces something brand new, something groundbreaking into any field, artistic or otherwise,
Yeah.
but something that requires creativity. Like
Yeah.
I'm the computer scientist in my head is thinking of like new innovations in the field basically. Like whenever I'm still thinking of technology and I'm trying to like translate it to art, but basically whenever like the biggest inventions in the field of technology, I feel like there's definitely something from within the inventor that made that possible. Like the only example I can think of is Steve Jobs, which I don't really like that as an example, but I think like that there are definitely things that he pulled from the outside world around him to invent everything that he did. But I mean, he did like the things he created was so revolutionary to the world, and I don't think like many other people could have done that. So there's definitely something in there that only he could provide. But was that just the combination of the elements that he found around him?
Yeah, I feel that's why, like, I completely understand your point. But okay, see, for example, there's uh shit. I was reading this book uh that I think you also read, which is about creativities by Jonah Lehrer.
I don't think so.
It's
What was it? Say the author again?
Jonah Lehrer. Wait, hold.
Okay, no memories. Oh yeah, okay, this book. Yeah, I
Yeah,
I paged through
imagine.
it, and I think I read the introduction of the first couple of chapters while I was at your house for
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I think you had
Yeah, I
borrowed
was
it for
pretty.
a bit.
Yeah, I remember that because that's about the invention of the Swiffer, or is that what it's called?
The
I
tape.
should know. I don't clean things. Yeah, it's about the invention of the Swiffer, which is like the replacement for the mop. And I remember the
Yeah,
book.
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually remember this book really well.
Yeah,
So it's
and
about these guys who wanted to who wanted to replace the mop with something that was so much better, but it was really hard because the
this
mop's
one?
really good. Yeah, I think so.
Uh-uh.
The first few chapters. No,
It's
am I
like,
thinking of a different book?
yeah, I think so. I strongly think so. This is like basically they break down creativity. He breaks down creativity into like
Ah,
into various parts, like whether firstly whether like drugs can help you, and
okay.
then how it helps. Then what is it about like combining ideas and sitting together in a group and
Hmm.
brainstorming that works and things like that. And basically there's this part about 3M, which is the company that made the first sellotape.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so like how they build from idea A to go to the sellotape to then go to post-its,
Okay, yeah.
right? Like how they
That makes
make
sense.
that connection. And I feel like what you're talking about, which is like what's inherently in the creator itself, is just I feel is just the ability to kind of make the connections between the
Yeah, no,
various
that's exactly
ideas
right.
and like kind of
That's
piece it
exactly what I was
together.
thinking.
Because you can throw three like completely random objects or random names at people and they'll come up with various different like connections based on how much
Hmm.
I feel like they've experienced in life and like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, yeah. So this podcast turned out to be longer than expected. There's probably going to not just be a part 2 but a part 3 as well. I'm not too sure about the part 3, but the part 2 is definitely coming. wait for it, I guess, if you want to.